Thank you, NOJI Sensei, for giving us this opportunity to chat with us, and we're very excited to share ask you some of our questions about your research as well as the UT7 program. Before we start, I think we can do a one-sentence, very brief self-introduction.
Yep, please.
My name is Chunyan. I'm a postdoc at all three of us are the postdoc at Tokyo College, and my research focuses on public health and behavioral science. I use digital technology as well as community engagement research methods for the health promotion among international migrants living in Japan.
Thank you very much for your time and for talking to us. My name is Cintia KOZONOI VEZZANI, and I am a literary critic and translator working on an interdisciplinary project that brings together neurosciences and literature, because I want to investigate my hypothesis that reading complex novels, canonic literature, can help exercise the brain so we can have more attention when conducting deep work and activities that require concentration.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Laur, KIIK, and I'm an anthropologist. I study a particular ethnic group in highland Asia in the mountains between Burma and China called Kachin. And I focus on nationalism, ethnic conflict, war, but also questions of life beyond the human. So not only human suffering and human life, but also wildlife, biodiversity. So tigers, elephants, rainforests, and so on. So I think we all come from different disciplines here, but we have some common interest in the broadly speaking, what is life and what is the value of life and what is the meaning of life.
So Sensei, can you use one sentence to describe your research?
Okay, I'm a kind of a single molecule biophysicist originally, but recently we are moving to the more building cell-like structure we call artificial cell system or cell reactor. And ultimate goal is really reconstitution of a kind of molecular system that can survive some kind of certain conditions. Of course, should be not natural condition, but in laboratory condition, they should grow. They should show growth. And divide itself, and finally they can make a self-replication, self-reproduction, and as a result, that this system should show kind of evolution. Because from the energetic point of view, so the information cannot be reproduced perfect manner. Cannot do that. Because to do so, you have to pay a very large amount of energy. So the precision of information reproduction or replication is a matter of how large energy you pay for that. So that's why the reality is always the information, replicated information should bring the random mutation. So that's why as a result, the synthetic cell or artificial cell reactor finally should show kind of evolution.
So it should be able to start living by itself almost.
Exactly. So that's why to show kind of artificial evolution is a kind of one goal, very clear goal for us.
I see.
Yep.
So cell is the very basic unit of any kind of life, or and so the core or the concept of the UT7 program is also about life. Exactly. So would you please tell us a little bit about what exactly is the UT7 program and what are the mission of this program?
Concept of the UT7 is at the early stage, we didn't pay attention about the life or something like that. Just we are talking about how we can accelerate curiosity-driven research in university. This is a kind of a starting point of UT7 because nowadays government attempt push us move to more industrial purpose or something like that. Of course, we have so many social issues to be solved, to be addressed, like global warming or some biodiversity is also kind of issue. But on the other hand, the value of academic research is principally, I suppose, to innovate the existing view, I think.
Existing view.
Existing view or existing, way of thinking or how people understand the nature or environment or ourselves. So they're kind of bringing the kind of innovation. I mean, innovation itself have a very different meaning in each discipline. But here, what I like to say is kind of innovates the way of thinking or way of view, how we understand the nature or human itself or society. So that's a core value, I think.
I see.
So in this sense, when we focus too much about the social issue itself, so it's a kind of it can limit our potential of idea creation. So that's why we started the kind of very very casual, let's say, meeting, how to address this issue. I mean, how to be free from the pressure, social pressure from the government, and how to make a kind of a new environment or new place to burst our potential to make a very innovative stuff. So for example, when we focus on carbon neutral issue too much, probably people try to find existing technology and how to connect. If so, already solved, and already many people start to do that. For example, company or kind of a national institute. So, but it's a kind of just a combination of existing technology. So that's why so in such a case, if this combination cannot solve the problem, it's done, it's finished. So the real value of academic research is just creating new things and let them, them means some other people, just make new choices or new opportunities
available for them.
Exactly. So otherwise, our technology finally shrink and completely zero. So we always have to make new things, new concept of technology or new concept of idea. So that's I believe this is a core value of academic research. If we pay too much attention to the social issues, if so, we just try to combine, try to some kind of the many combinations of existing technology. So that's why we believe keeping some certain level of curiosity-driven research is quite important. So that is the starting point of UT7. Then my colleagues are all somehow involved in life science. So that's why we define another research concept as a life.
I see.
So that's why the concept of life is second.
Curiosity is the first.
It's exactly.
I was just curious because how do you then inspire this new generation to really feel the energy and enthusiasm to become more curious? Have you been thinking about how to inspire this new generation? Because I think you are showing how there is a tendency to move away from what sparkles our joy, because we're expected to do certain things and follow certain rules within this academic world. And by doing this, there is this very sad tendency of people to lose their interest, their joy, their curiosity when conducting research. And I was just interested if you had any opinion about how to inspire, how to bring that back, how to, for the newer generation onwards as well. So if you had any thoughts about that.
Yeah, actually, I don't have so many answers about that. But before answering this question, let's make a question to you. When you get your curiosity, how did you get your current curiosity? That's my question to you guys. Please, yeah.
I can start.
Yeah.
So my current research is, my research started in reproductive health and sexual health among Chinese adolescents and young people. And my curiosity on that research topic is actually because at that moment I was at college. I'm one of the population, and I saw many of my friends who actually went through some health issues related to sexual health and reproductive health. And I was wondering why we're experiencing this, given we have the technology to treat the disease, to prevent the disease, but still there are some people are suffering from that. So I wanted to find out the underlying mechanism of these kind of health issues. And then later on, because I studied in different countries, I live my life as a migrant moving across the borders. So I experienced maybe some of the challenges and difficulties of accessing healthcare in different cultural contexts. So then I was like, I wanted to understand or study more. What are the things we can do to help people who are traveling or migrating across the country borders for a better and healthier life?
Okay.
Yeah, that's all based on my experience, my curiosity.
I mean, I think there's, in anthropology also, we often say that even though usually it seems like we are studying distant, faraway cultures, other people, in the end, often we are studying ourselves. It's something about our own background, our childhood, something that makes us particularly fascinated, particularly excited about some topic that then fuels us and keeps us going. So in my case, I think I grew up in a small country, which has a history of war and ethnic conflict. And I grew up in a situation where there was always tensions between ethnic groups. So I think that also inevitably kind of fed in me this interest in how different nations, ethnic groups, peoples kind of mingle, live together, and have conflict. And so that very naturally, I think that I can't stop it. The curiosity is always kind of coming from inside. Every time I could study other issues, but somehow that's where very naturally, like gravitation, it's pulling me somehow. I think it's for a lot of researchers, there's something like that, right? And then the question of curiosity is how much can we justify to ourselves and to society and to the taxpayers who are paying for our curiosity? How can we justify our own, our joy?
That's another problem.
So there's always that.
Of course. I see.
Yeah, I went even backwards in the sense of my curiosity comes from love. I think the fact that I was free enough, growing up to read as much as I could, and by reading I could live other lives and see other places and travel without getting out of my room. That opened up so much curiosity and desire to keep reading and analyzing and seeing the power of language. How we may read and just follow a plot, but indeed there's so much mystery under, so many messages, so many things you can decipher, like a detective. And that curiosity didn't have in the beginning a concrete way, a professional career. It was never clear. It was just following this and going to university in Brazil and falling in love with professors, falling in love with the books we were reading, falling in love with the possibility of learning something from 5,000 years before. Is this continuity of understanding that we belong to something much bigger than ourselves. So that's what continues shining, and I want to keep inspiring.
That's a very good story. Okay, after knowing that, it's getting more difficult for me to. But your story is a kind of your curiosity just originated from inside or your own experience, right? So that's why it's so the answer to from you question answer to you about the question from you is not so easy, you know, you know. So each people have their own opportunities, and maybe from outside it's quite difficult to control or to how to say catalyze. I mean, but you know, but what I can do is only just show to younger generation how we are driven by the curiosity. And of course, to justify our curiosity-driven research to the for example, taxpayer, finally we have to make some result, and that's have a kind of value for society. But what I like to say is that is a kind of challenging for me. Firstly, do the research purely driven by my own curiosity. Then we got the result. As at least we have to publish the paper, at least. Then, but through the curiosity-driven experiment research, maybe we can create a kind of original result because our curiosity is quite different from each other. So that's why when you make a difference from the others, maybe the one very simple way is to do the curiosity-driven research. The results should be very unique. And if we can create some kind of technology, that should be also very, very unique when we compare with the existing technology. Because the technology is originated by my own curiosity. Then, of course, most of the findings can have a less value, but some of them can have a big potential to solve the kind of social issues. So that's our strategy. And showing this, maybe I can attract the younger people and just not only justifying my how to say curiosity-driven research, but also let the students or younger people generation to understand this is one solution. I mean, this is one strategy to create the new things. I believe some of the students can understand this is a one way. This is one way to create new things as well as seek his own curiosity. And on the other hand, justify their own curiosity research itself.
You know, this reminds me actually a situation in Burma. So with young people there, I'm often volunteering or teaching young Kachin ethnic group, Kachin people. They want to study abroad, they want to pursue their dreams. And many young people, they feel very guilty if they're interested in literature or physics or something like that, because they feel that this is a civil war area, we have poverty, we have this incredible political conflict. So a lot of people feel, I should be studying development studies, I should be studying political science, I should be studying something, maybe because they're mostly Christians, I should be studying Christian theology, which they will also see as more justified for society, instead of studying what maybe is their own passion, architecture or engineering. Even they will see like this isn't really immediately useful. And I've had so many conversations with young people on this issue, and I'm kind of trying to make that same argument I feel like you were making, is that sometimes the selfish thing can end up being the selfless thing. So it feels to a lot of the students that it's selfish for them to pursue their own curiosity, their own interest, their own desire, what they like to do, because they should be committed to the community. They should be doing something that can help all these poor people, refugees, people suffering, struggling, the political struggle, the revolution, the civil war revolution, fight against the Burmese regime. But actually sometimes if you study architecture, or you study literature, or you study water ecology, maybe you can become this amazingly great scientist, a leader in your field, because you have this internal curiosity, this drive. This is very natural for you. You don't have to force yourself. And unexpectedly, you can then actually bring back all this benefit back to your own society, maybe by becoming a professor, by becoming a teacher, inspiring. So like sometimes the direct way isn't the fastest, so this so seemingly selfish way can end up being selfless.
Yes. That is what I like to say. Yes. Yeah, same things in the technology development. Yeah, so that further, of course, there could be so many different ways to make to develop a new technology. But my strategy is firstly purely follow my own curiosity, because that can make a difference. Yeah, so that's why totally I agree with your idea, and very same concept, I think. So
when we're engaging with the younger generations, where the students, I think there is a number of like more and more PhD students, where people with PhD degrees are actually leaving academia. They're going to work in the industry, but not doing academic research. It's not because they don't like it, maybe because of the reality of life, make them have to do that.
Yeah.
So you as a professor has been working in this prestigious university. How do you see our interaction with, we're engaging with a future generation of scientists, how we can retain the talents in research or in academia?
In academia.
Yeah.
Then following up, are you? What are the plans for the UT7 group? For example, would you like to, in the long term, invite graduate students to be part of this research? And what would be the application? Because for what I understand, you're trying to do it something different from traditional, like the discipline. So I think it's going to be very interdisciplinary. And also, just curious if you're thinking about a way of reviewing the applications that's different from the traditional way. I'm thinking about there is someone else who's presenting a possible data that instead of choosing always the ones that score the best in an application, to choose those who are sometimes excellent, but also sometimes their scores are terrible. Because someone says, this project is amazing, or this project, of course, is terrible. And maybe those are the ones, the riskier ones. And that would be an opportunity for those who wouldn't fit the regular category, and maybe at such an institute, be able to find their place to take the risk. For the dialogues that we've read, I think the institute is very open for possible failure, because by risking yourself, you're open for the risk of either success or failure, but I think the lesson is through the process. So I was curious if you have any thoughts about inviting graduates or postgraduates or undergraduates to this institute, and how would it be different, this process of mentorship and invitation in this sense?
Okay, so many questions. First of all, simply answering your first question about how to attract and how to keep the good talent. I'm sorry. Firstly, our one practical goal of UT7 is just receive the money, not from government, from by the donation, let's say. Donation, and we should keep some kind of freedom, as well as we like to build our own physical space. And what I like to say is kind of building a new institute, something like an institute, and then we should keep a kind of positions, open position for younger generation. So that is one practical goal. And of course, we cannot do everything, but what we can do is very limited, very small, but still we can give new opportunities for younger researchers to continue their own curiosity-driven research. in the, how to say, platform of UT7. That is one of practical goal. And the second goal is once we realize that this kind of activity is possible, maybe other people can consider similar things to build their own institute, not dependent on a government-based budget. For example, by donation or something like that. So that's why maybe our activity could accelerate this kind of activities. And but I think in a long-term view, this is a kind of answer. I'm trying to answer your question. So it's quite difficult, but for example, the student in my university is recognized as a kind of best students in Japan. But due to their kind of high score of entrance examination, of course, it doesn't guarantee the real, how to say, talent as a scientist or researchers, but highly well, how to say, appreciated in society. But I like to open the research opportunities widely for more other younger people. They already found their own curiosity. So that's why now we started kind of activity to support kind of high school students or undergraduate students in different universities to provide some opportunity to do research. So for the in general, for the almost most of the high school students in Japan, they don't have a good opportunity to seek their own curiosity-driven research because due to the limited facility in the high school. But once they visiting us, they can do their own science. They can try to seek their own scientific research. So of course, our activity is also limited in this direction, but still it can, how to say, kind of one new, how to say, trial to support younger, highly motivated younger people to involve in scientific research or engineering research. Yeah, that can answer to your question. Yeah.
When I read and learned about this UT7, like as a place where you can just focus on curiosity and hopefully not worry about budget, not worry about all these limitations, have this freedom to just go and not think what is the immediate benefit, the immediate practical use, just follow your curiosity. Yeah. That is so beautiful, and of course so many of us dream about such a situation, and it sounds almost like an advocacy speech for the humanities. It sounds for pure mathematics, for pure science in general, right? But then inevitably, how do we create a system where we don't create even more inequality, where we have a select few, we have this incredible joy, we can follow our curiosity, we have this freedom, and in our institute also we have so much freedom, we are so lucky. But then there's so many others. We know our friends, our colleagues, all these other younger, older researchers, who have no such opportunity. They have to maybe teach a lot. They have to teach a lot of classes. They have to apply for all these grants. They have to, go from one university to the next, trying to keep a career up. So many people are struggling in the academic job market and in the reality. So how do we, when we set up such a research environment where we can have this freedom, maybe, how do we make it that it's not that little on top of the mountain privileged class that can really have this joy? And how do we decide, how should we distribute it more broadly? Everyone could have more freedom, but then everyone will just get a little bit, right? If we spread it really widely, it'll just be a little bit more freedom, a little bit more budget. and everyone will just have a little bit. So how do you make this decision? Should we concentrate the freedom in one place and have this select people who have full freedom and they go full, or we should like distribute it more broadly so more people could enjoy maybe not the full freedom, but at least a little bit more of freedom?
Simply, latter is a solution. I mean, not focusing on some particular persons. The opportunities should be spread. Most of the people, if the people have a confidence and motivated to do their own curiosity-driven research, if so. So that's why maybe by the UT7 activity, we cannot solve all of each problems, but we can demonstrate this can happen. This can happen. I mean, by receiving a donation or something like that, of course, in a limited resource, but we can try to demonstrate. We can do the curiosity-driven research, and then of course, if we can have a more resources, we can invite the younger people or senior people, of course, and to try, not always, but partially as a part-time. I mean, for example, summer vacation or something like that. We like to provide some opportunity to seek their own curiosity-driven research. And but other point, this is also very practical issues. But after seeking the curiosity-driven research, we also have to demonstrate this curiosity-driven research can provide very highly potential technology or way of
solutions.
Solutions to society. Of course, not always, but quite high potential and highly unique method, technology or way of solution. That's also very important to justify our activity as well as to receive more donation to accelerate these activities. So not all of people who involved in the UT7 are responsible for this direction, but some core member should do that, I think. So I feel this responsibility. So by seeking the curiosity-driven research, but on the other hand, finally, we have to provide some real problems, kind of solution, technological solution. Otherwise, we cannot survive.
Yes. I actually have a follow-up question to answer earlier, because you mentioned UT7 program can be the platform to attract talented researchers, younger or senior, outside of Japan or in Japan.
Yes.
How UT7 program or the University of Tokyo are going to attract
もっと難しい質問やな。
competing against other countries or other institutions who are also looking for talents to join in them?
Okay, actually, our resource is so limited. So, for example, when we just consider about our salary itself, cannot be competitive at all. Of course, and so that's why there are some kind of, for example, the salary or this kind of physical stuff cannot be competitive. So that's why they're kind of soft power, I mean, atmosphere is, I think, important to attract the people from outside, at least. So that's why we should keep a very open and open culture, and we don't like to set a kind of hierarchy, at least for the scientific research. And of course, we we have to behave like a purely curiosity-driven researcher. But on the other hand, as I said, honestly, I also have to provide some result to justify our activities by developing or providing some kind of problem-solving technology. and attract young people or new generation or senior, whatever. So but I need a kind of we need a very open atmosphere, and of course in terms of salary we cannot be competitive, but this kind of culture can be very strong, to say attractive force.
Or the Japanese society can be, I know many people are interested in Japanese culture, and Japan is one of the safest country to live in compared to some parts of the world.
So we have to take similar strategy. So not only by attracting the people, I mean by the kind of salary or something like that, but as a culture, as an atmosphere, we can attract some people, I think.
I think that the initiative of working on interdisciplinary projects could be a very positive point about the University of Tokyo. We are all doing something with interdisciplinarity, so I think that is very good. And reading your dialogue, I also thought that the metaphor about the real contribution could be improving the soil where you're going to plant the seeds of the ideas. And I think this is very inspiring. And I think even though you may share that it's not an easy process and many challenges and struggles, but it is a very powerful image that I hope that will be shared more often about this institute. So I think that it touched me very much. Yes. And even in that one, you mentioned now how you would like to build physically a new lab, perhaps, within this UT7. And I was curious if there is a desire of bringing also humanities as part of this interdisciplinarity. And when you mentioned your lab, I was thinking about a library. And part of my research is not only about the attitude of reading books and improving the brain, but also the environment where you can read the book and have this concentration. So I am investigating libraries that have been forgotten in the world, and how maybe we can learn some lessons from the past. So I was also curious if at one point doing the next months or whenever you are open to talk about this lab or the physical building of UT7, if there would be space to also consider innovative ways of building the space, but also looking backwards in the sense, what can we learn from the past of I have been using the term safe spaces to read and conduct deep work. So I was just wanted to share a little bit of this idea.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it sounds very interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So maybe it's our time to closing this interview. So for each of the professors, I think we're going to ask the similar question. Would you recommend like one book or one movie or one TV show that you like to our audience?
Think about maybe something that it's outside of your field. So that's why we thought about arts. Yes, that may have inspired you to follow your career path. Or even the moment when you decided you'd become a scientist. Or sometimes science fiction has some descriptions of possible futures, and maybe that could have made you think, wow, I also want to think about this.
It's quite difficult to answer, but in some sense, I think the science is, in some sense, quite... Pure science is similar to their fine art, I think. So that's why but anyway, I sometimes I like to go to the museum to enjoy the fine art because not only I prefer to see their fine art. And I received some kind of a very good impression or some kind of new, good new feeling. And in some sense, I feel the fine art and the pure science have some kind of similarity. That is so we are motivated from our insight. Curiosity. And on the other hand, in case of artists in fine art or scientists in pure science, they have to build not only single paper, but a kind of story or kind of a new view or something like that. So creating this stuff is very similar between the pure science and the fine art. In this sense, I feel kind of similarity or synergy. And so that's why I sometimes I have a very good impressed, how to say, yeah.
I see. So your recommendation would be go to the museums when you are free to relax yourself as well as to get some inspiration for your research.
Yes.
Is there a museum that you would like to recommend here in Tokyo?
Oh, so many museums.
Tons of museums.
Tons of museums.
No.
So I cannot recommend only one.
Okay.
So many, Western Western art, or not only Western art, but traditional Japanese or Chinese or many. So, but anyway, in Tokyo we have many opportunity to receive the very good impressions from art. So, and also I like listen music, particularly rock.
Oh,
Because rock is a kind of breaking all the stuff. That's also similar to the science. Always we like to break existing concept and create new things. So in this sense, I like also rock music or a new style of music also. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sensei, for
much.
taking the time and talking to us. We really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.